Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm of course your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be breaking into the perception of the public on overpowered, balanced, and underpowered premium tanks in World of Tanks Blitz, and why this public perception really grinds my gears. Now, I do want to point out before I break into anything in today's video that obviously this is an opinion. So if any of you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments down below. I'm just the storyteller, and you guys, well, you're going to let me know what your versions of the story is down below. But yeah, today's video is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and it kind of pushed me over the edge when the Titan HN came into the game. Now, the Titan HN is by no means a fantastic vehicle. Its armor is not really that thick on the front. It's about 220 on the upper plate, and even once you get to half health and that lower bar pops up, it's still only about 200 millimeters thick, which is good. Don't get me wrong. Against tier 7s, that's actually going to get quite a few bounces if you angle it correctly. Against tier 6s, you'll probably bounce everything, although against tier 8, yeah, not as good. The gun's really bad on dispersion, its DPM's okay, and as well, the vehicle is incredibly slow with a bad power to weight ratio. However, after playing this vehicle, personally, I can tell you there's nothing bad about the tank. In fact, it's a very average vehicle. There's nothing that makes it stand out amazing. It has a cool mechanic, but it doesn't make the vehicle itself amazing. But there's also nothing that makes it bad. You can't just say, oh, it's a bad tank, because it's very capable of doing things. I mean, personally, I'm doing pretty well in the tank. I'm at 64% with 2,500 average damage. Obviously, if this was a bad vehicle, A, I would not be over 60%, and B, I would not be doing a good average damage. And sure, you could make the excuse that I'm a very good player, but even if you're a good player, you should always be able to use a tank's strengths and outweigh the weaknesses that were given to it. The thing that annoyed me about this event is the fact that people were complaining that this tank was not like the Annihilator and the Smasher. And I mean, these were top comments. We got one here with 43 likes. It's quite alright. Sadly enough, spaced armor doesn't work on heat. Why wargaming? Can we have a tank that sticks the middle finger up against the Smashers for once? Well, actually, we did have a tank that stuck the middle finger up to the Smasher. It's called the Annihilator. The Smasher came out first, and then we had the Annihilator. And I'm gonna be honest, it did stick the middle finger up to the Smasher, and then it stuck the middle finger up to every other tank in the Tier 7 game. I mean, even pretty strong premium tanks in Tier 7 literally pale in comparison to the Annihilator and the Smasher. If we take a look at the most games played per 90 days on Blitzstar statistics, which just logs battles played on each server, the Lupus is a fantastic vehicle. If you've ever seen a review on it, I mean, this thing's got 12 degrees of gun depression with a 400 damage gun. It's actually an incredibly strong tank. And, well, there are 466 people using this vehicle. And then we go to the Smasher at 9,823 players, and the Annihilator at 8,500. If you add those together, that is literally 17, actually, it's basically 18,000 people, judging that it's 85 plus 98. So, yeah, 18,000 players have used the Annihilator and the Smasher in the past 90 days. You can literally get vehicles like the Tiger, 6,300. This is a free tech tree vehicle, one of the strongest tech tree tanks in the game, and the Tiger still is not even close to a premium tank on battles played. It's ridiculous. And the point I'm trying to make in today's video is that people were really expecting a tank to be as broken as the Annihilator and the Smasher to come out in this Halloween event. And they were disappointed when it wasn't anything broken or hyped up at what it probably was. Personally, I am very happy that there is not another broken vehicle. Sure, you could make the argument that currently the matchmaker is already ruined, so let's ruin it more. But no, that's not really how it works. With global warming, we don't just say, screw the Earth. Let's just burn as many fossil fuels as we can, even though we're already on the exact way to extinction. I mean, that's a terrible strategy. That's how you destroy the game even more. Who wants to deal with a Smasher with a 3-shell gun? I mean, it's a terrible, terrible idea. So I was quite disappointed to see that there were a lot of people complaining that a Tier 7 for $10 was a bad deal. By the way, it's not like you're just getting the Tier 7. There's an entire event here. You're getting free XP. You're getting, no gold, that's the battle pass, but you're getting days of premium, you're getting camouflages, live camouflages, you're getting crates, which sure, it's crates and it's gambling, but I mean, the crate can actually contain something pretty good in here. You can get your hands on an AMX Defender with an 8% drop chance guaranteed. There will be people out there getting their hands on the vehicle. 300,000 credits. I mean, this is not bad, judging that as well you're getting a Tier 7 heavy tank that you could literally sell for 2,500 gold, and a tier 5 tank as well that literally comes free with the bundle. So 2 tanks, a bunch of rewards, and people are complaining that it costs $10, yet the Battle Pass, which is $5, has similar reward system, and it gives you what is usually a knockoff of a tech tree vehicle, this one being a Chaffee with an AMX 12-ton gun. Nothing new, nothing out of the ordinary, but yet nobody complains. The only reason people were mad about this Halloween event is because they wanted an overpowered vehicle, and they were disappointed when it wasn't. I'm gonna be real. Tanks are not supposed to be overpowered. It's not normal that vehicles like the Dracula and the Helsing and vehicles, like the Lycan are incredibly strong. They shouldn't be. They should be decent tanks. Nothing to make everybody cry about it, It should just be a vehicle that does its job on the battlefield, has a unique playstyle, and is fun to drive. And honestly, this tank checked all of the boxes for me, and that is why I had a very positive review of this vehicle. It wasn't necessarily the tank itself being the best at tier 7 or even anything incredible, but it was cool. It has a new mechanic in the game that is not game breaking, and the vehicle itself seems quite enjoyable for me to drive, so I am happy with this tank. But I mean, it's not only the Titan that's a good example here. This is the T-25 Pilot 1, a vehicle to this day which is regarded as one of the worst buys as a premium tank in the game. And I don't understand that even in the slightest. Sure, the T-25 Pilot 1 is not a fantastic vehicle. It's a pretty average tank. I mean, the gun's got okay DPM, it's got okay aiming time, and blah blah blah, but there's nothing that makes it bad. A lot of people try comparing this tank to a vehicle, let's say like the T-2065 Sheriff, which just isn't a comparable variation. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my words there. A better way to compare it, which is what the Pilot is supposed to be compared to, is the Pershing. The Pershing has worse DPM, way worse dispersion, almost the same aiming time, a slower top speed at 48 instead of 50, a worse power to weight ratio, and worse turret armor. So you tell me, how is it possible that this tank is bad if it's completely better than a tech tree variant that I don't see people complaining about ever? The TS5 is another vehicle. On World of Tanks PC, this tank is broken, and because of that, it had a lot of hype coming up behind it, but when it released, a lot of people were disappointed in the vehicle. Personally, after playing it quite a bit, I mean, I've really been enjoying the tank. I'm sitting at an 84% win rate with 2448 average damage. The average damage is nothing incredible, and the win rate is very, very luckily high for me. But, I mean, I can't say there's anything incredible about the tank, but it's definitely not bad. The gun has incredible DPM at 3,100 if you're running rammer. Its penetration is the same as a tier 10 heavy tank, being the T110E5. And sure, while it may not have much gun depression, while you are not able to use it all the time, when you are, you're able to hide that lower plate and use incredibly thick armor. The Canon Jagdpanzer, another vehicle. It was released into the game. It was supposed to have a much higher top speed at 72 kilometers per hour and much, much better DPM at over 3,000, but Wargaming decided to nerf that, rightfully so, because in testing it was one of the most broken vehicles. Imagine an E25 with a 350 damage per shot gun that went 72 kilometers per hour and had the best camo in tier 8. Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. Again, another good reason why this tank was nerfed. And sure, while it may not be the best tier 8 tank destroyer, you could definitely buy the WZ-120 GFT. It doesn't make this vehicle bad at all. People were disappointed with this tank, but what is so bad about it? Again, 77% win rate, 46 games, and 2,400 average damage. If you know how to drive a tank in the situational awareness of its playstyle, you will do well. And a tank does not need to be the best of its class to do that. So it just, personally, for me, it is irritating when people complain that a new tank that comes into the game, specifically a tank like the LT-432, is bad because it's got worse DPM than the T-54 lightweight. The gun is bad, it's got bad accuracy, and the turret's bad. I mean, after playing the tank, sure, it's not my highest performing tier 8 at 66%, and neither is the average damage, but this is a light tank after all. If you compare this to any of my light tanks, probably even the T-54 lightweight, you're probably not going to see any fantastic stats. I'm just going to go to the tech tree here, and I will warn you, my lightweight's a bit old here, but I mean, even if we look at it, yeah, 60% with 1,500 average damage for 61 games. It's not like this tank is incredibly better, and by the way, the LT-432 has almost a 4% better camouflage on move, and it's a much lower profile with a better upper plate. With that, you can get some troll bounces, the gun does its job, and it's actually got the best on movement dispersion for a tier 8 light in the game. And then finally, we come over to the turret Turtle. Now, the Turtle is definitely one of those underpowered type vehicles. Sure, for a player like me, I can make it work. I mean, I'm 78% it with 2,300 average damage. But that is only because, and I quote, only because of the gun. The gun is actually pretty nice because it's 330 damage per shot, which gives it a really comfortable reload of around 6.74 seconds. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just right in the middle there. And because it's got super high DPM plus good dispersion, I actually don't mind the vehicle. Personally, I don't think it's good. I mean, for the average player, this is a pile of turd. But it's still a pretty capable tank for anybody that knows how to run it, and I think it's balanced. I mean, sure, it's underpowered, but I'm not going to complain that Wargaming did not leave it to what it was originally when it was 260 millimeters on the upper plate and like 300 on the lower. It was ridiculous. So this is what I wanted to make today's video complaining about. People are very judgmental about vehicles A, they've never played, and B, they wanted to be something but weren't. Vehicles that I've all listed here were very high reputation. Vehicles like the T-25 Pilot 1, TS5, Canon, and LT-432, even the Turtle, have pretty high reputations on World of Tanks PC. And just because they didn't live up to the PC name and completely dominate the meta in Blitz does not mean they are bad vehicles, and that you should be disappointed when they come into the game. Personally, apart from vehicles with tungsten shells like the 60TP and the M6Yo, Wargaming has done a very good job balancing Tier 8s in the game, and I've said this very sternly on almost all of my Tier 8 tank reviews lately. Even my Turtle review, I think I said that it was a pretty balanced tank, it's just not one that anybody would ever want to drive, because, well, it's a Turtle. The Annihilator and the Smasher are two extremely big exceptions. And yes, they are overpowered, but it does not mean that this should set the new norm for what Halloween tanks are coming into the game. You should not need another overpowered vehicle to come into the game so that we can have those people spam that overpowered tank instead of using the Smasher or the Annihilator. The reason the Annihilator's win rate is so low compared to the Smashers, and you can see that here, 53% instead of 60%, is because so many bad players have rushed to the Annihilator after watching my video and Pantoof's videos and Meatsy's videos talking about how it's the new king of Tier 7, that when they play it, they suck because they don't know how to play the game. So their win rate plummets like a rock. And the Smasher, well, man, I don't really know why the Smasher's so high, I'm going to be honest. But, yeah, I guess the Smasher's got a different player base going for it, as this one has received all the attention lately. Personally, I think it's a little bit stupid that we'll complain about overpowered tanks being in the game, but then at the same time complain when Wargaming releases a balanced tank. You don't need to spend your money on the Titan event. It's not like Wargaming is forcing you to spend your money to get your hands on a Tier 7 vehicle. It does not say anywhere that you need this tank or you need the things in this pass. It is a fun event for people that want to get the tank to get a little bit of extra rewards plus get a cool Tier 7. And that is all the Halloween event should be. That is my personal opinion, but let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. If you agree with me, let me know. But if you disagree as well, let me know in the comments down below. For the people that did not watch till the end of the video and are typing something random in the comments, well, that's pretty sad because you're going to feel stupid. But hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Bye-bye.